Thank you, Lauren, for that. Okay, where do I begin? Talking about Huntington's. It's a world 10 years ago we knew nothing about. And here I am today talking to you about something that just became a part of our life 6 years ago. HD was never anything I knew about, and when I think back now, maybe 8 years ago, there were some minor signs. Jerry's foot used to tap, and he didn't realise he was doing it. Things were challenging for us at that time of our life. I was a young mum with 2 young girls working full-time. Jerry had been made redundant in his job, and my elderly father was sick in Townsville. We were at a fork in our life, and we made the decision to return to Townsville, which is my hometown. We made an easy decision to return, as Jerry had to look for a new job, and we could be closer to my family. In Townsville, we were unaware of anything of Huntington's. It was a hectic time for us. We were getting settled. I started a new full-time position. The girls were in new schools. We were living and caring for my mother who had dementia. Subtle changes were happening to Jerry, but we were so busy we didn't realise. It was a time for Jerry to start applying for jobs, and he'd lost his confidence. Jerry was a highly intelligent IT professional who didn't struggle with confidence previously. Those things were happening in our busy life, which we didn't see. Soon after we arrived, Jerry made an appointment with a local GP. It was something totally unrelated to HD, and the doctor recognised and suggested for him to be tested. And this is where our journey began. We travelled to Brisbane to see a specialist. I remember the doctor confirming Jerry had HD and a test was not required. He advised 5 years of quality life and then nursing home care. We flew home that afternoon not knowing what was ahead. I was too scared to Google HD, and I never told anyone. We'd talk about it together, but we were in shock and trying to come to terms with our future. We travelled to the clinic 6 months later, and this is where it really hit. After this visit, we talked with the girls and made them aware of Dad's condition. Jerry wanted to provide for the family, so he talked about buying businesses. He was hopeful in life and never really understood what was ahead. He was totally in denial. This is when we knew our world was about to change. We would go out together and people would notice Jerry's gait and think he was drunk by not being able to walk properly. For me, I needed time. I was not able to talk to anyone about the condition. I sought out help from a counsellor to help me to come to terms with what lay ahead. This really helped with contacts and referrals to a local specialist. I couldn't talk to anyone about HD without crying. I wanted to do everything on my own because I am very independent, and at that point in time there was really nothing to help us. I went to some support groups, but I realised that was their journey and it just didn't fit for me. I really only wanted to surround myself with solutions and not more problems. Huntington's was a challenge. The support from Tressa and Lauren at HD Queensland was always there with a great amount of knowledge and guidance. When the NDIS became a part of our life, Angie at Spark was a positive influence and support, connecting us with local services. I do speak very highly of NDIS, but believe me, there were times when I would say they were hopeless. It was such a high level of frustration with so much to cope with. The NDIS gave us care so that I could continue with my full-time employment. Through our experience with the NDIA, I learnt that it is so important to ensure you put everything in your plan, to be thorough and prepare. The future is scary and you don't know what is in store, but prepare as much as you can. If your speech device arrives and you don't think you need it, that's the time to learn it. Planning is so important and will make such a difference as the disease progresses. Listen to suggestions from the allied health professionals. They know the stages of the condition and what aids are going to be required. I remember a nurse in Brisbane telling me that nothing is going to change overnight with HD. It's a long haul, progressively deteriorating condition. This was so true for us. Jerry's condition did deteriorate slowly until the last 6 months of his life, and then it was a rapid decline. We would visit Jerry's specialist every 8 weeks. He would explain the next step of the condition, what I could expect in the next 8 weeks. I would always walk out of there thinking, this can't be possible. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But he was always right. NDIS can be a frustrating challenge, but I have now learnt how they did support. In the bigger picture, if I'd stopped and taken a breath and not got myself so frustrated with the process, easy now to say in hindsight. There were days when I was so desperate for equipment to simplify our life. We trialled dining chairs, lounge chairs, scooters, bath chairs, communication devices, and had numerous OT and speech therapist reports. And in the end, Jerry had the lounge chair for 1 month, and the communication device arrived just days after he passed. If there is a way to simplify the process of acquiring equipment, it would make such a difference to people and their families. When you enter the world of the NDIS, the NDIA planners will ask, what are your goals? And this is difficult to put to paper sometimes when you're just managing to get from one day to another. But it is so important for the process of funding. Jerry's goals were always family orientated, to be able to enjoy being by the beach and keep up with his girls, ability to keep mobile, enjoy the Cowboys football, communicate with family and friends. Funding in your plan will be in relation to your goals, and goals are just another word for what is important to you. My girls and I gave Jared everything. There is not one moment when I think we could have done it differently. We did the very best that we could at the time. It was a gift to care for Jerry. It was tough at times, but we pulled together. Every day I would wait to ask for strength and patience to get through the day. People would say I gave up a lot, and yes, it has been tough, but I would not have changed it. If I could give any advice to make the journey a little easier, I would have taken some more time out to relax. I could have been more disciplined with time for myself. I would have nurtured my own time, and maybe the meltdown moments I had may not have been as intense. Thank you.